The French have come to put down the rebellious vassal of Flanders in this epic medieval kingdom's 1212 siege. Hey, my name is Jackie Fish and welcome to another online battle. Today we have a 4 vs 3 as 4 French armies will look to take down Flanders, who are currently defending this fairly ruined city. This should be an exciting battle. I'm really looking forward to it because it's not too often we actually get to see the French forces in action. A lot of the time it's mainly, these minor factions, which, don't get me wrong, are always exciting to see, like a lot of the Italian city-states. However, it is also extremely fun to see the big hitters, the French and the English, come to bear once in a while and see what these elite units can go ahead and do. So as I said, this is going to be a four attackers and 3 defenders in, I believe, what is a pretty goddamn massive battle. Yeah, there is currently over 18, almost 19,000 soldiers. So I'm really digging these massive battles that we're getting sent over the past couple of weeks. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to be a part of these battles in the future, be sure to go and hit that like button, and obviously go ahead and join the Discord. The link will be in the description. Come over to my Discord, ask for the right tag, and you can go ahead and be a part of these battles in the future, whether it is 1212, Rise of Mordor, or all the other lovely stuff. So what we'll do is we'll quickly take a look at all the armies and just see a few of the cool looking units, because I think these have been updated since the last time I checked. Obviously medieval 1212 has been out for a long time, at least most of the factions have, but now I think they're starting to go through a few of the old outdated factions, taking a look at them and kind of bringing up the more updated armor and weaponry that they've now got to go ahead and flesh out the faction and make them look awesome. Because I mean, just take a look at these dismounted knights right here. They've got like these huge halberdier weapons with their swords as well, and the armor looks amazing. Definitely a very cool faction. We're just going to pause it quickly because there is a bit of a sally out with 5 units of Flanders cavalry, so I want to catch that. I want to go ahead and just take a quick look at the rest of the French army. We'll only really have to take a look at one because most of them are very similar. And then also have some of these dismounted knights. These guys are of the early period, so in a campaign you're going to be using these guys quite early on if you're playing as the French. We have an artillery crew back there. We do have some of these awesome looking knights, and that's what I really hope England and France have, and also the Holy Roman Empire. I hope they have a lot of these really unique looking units that have kind of been levied from around the country. And I'm hoping as well in the campaign that they'll have like a mercenary system where you'll be able to get mercenaries in quotes from areas around the map, or maybe even a really cool area of recruitment system like Divide Et Impera has. That would be pretty awesome. We also have some Genoese crossbowmen. I don't really know why they're pushing up the ladder, but we do have some Genoese crossbowmen mercenaries. We have some of the Scots Guard back here and a few other really interesting units. I think that's going to be fairly consistently throughout the entire French army. That's going to be basically what they have. They have some sergeants of a late period here, supported by some of these more French crossbowmen. Again, looking very awesome there with their big pavise shields. Lots of artillery, more of the halberds, heavy knights, and just artillery scattered out throughout the city with these knights ready to take the city with everything they have. Then if we quickly take a look at Flanders, because I want to see this battle unfold as we're already getting that cavalry engagement, a sweet-ass cavalry engagement. We have some of the heavy Flanders swords of Saint Michael, which is a kind of a cool special unit for the men of Flanders. We have the Flemish bowmen, they're only supported by more Flemish men-at-arms. And then we're going to have an assortment of other infantry, such as these pikemen back here, the Flemish pikemen, with more Flemish knights in front. And then a ton of the Flemish knights, which are being brought out to bear against the French force. So we'll click on play and we'll watch this sally out as they do come flying. And it does look like they're going to try and smash away at this pretty soft French line that's right in front of them. And they're going to actually be repelled. The French were prepared for that. However, they are going to be committing 2 units of cavalry to surround this 1 unit of Flemish knights. And as you can see, more Flemish knights are coming to the fight. There are supporting cavalry coming over as fast as it physically can from the 2nd French army in the center. However, right now, this is all the Flemish cavalry just charging in, trying to cause as much havoc and devastation as they can, going around the flanks, looking to take out these crossbowmen. Oh, this is a perfect charge against the Genoese mercenaries. They're not going to stand a chance, and you can see the French cavalry coming in the distance as fast as they can. However, I think this is going to be pretty dangerous for the attacking French armies because they're losing a lot of cavalry. They're losing almost, oh my god, if they lose these catapults, that's going to be massive. I think they just managed to survive. But yeah, the Flemish have obviously done a lot of damage, taking out crossbowmen, infantry, and I think one of the most important things about this sally out is it's disrupting the attack. Whilst this is going on, the other side of the battle, you know, is making breaches, it's trying to destroy parts of the wall, is going to be pushing up their artillery and other stuff. So because of that, you know, it's disrupting the assault. And that's pretty goddamn big, because if you can make the attackers fight in strings and kind of moving soldiers all disjointedly, you're going to really come out on top as a defender, because you can pick off the attackers one by one. I'm also pretty impressed right here that the Flemish knights were able to go toe-to-toe with the French. Obviously the French are pretty well known for their heavy cavalry, and I imagine over time they will clean this up and be absolutely fine as they bring in more of these awesome green horses with their lancers. But as I said, I'm just surprised that the Flemish managed to hold off this long and cause this much damage. You can see, you know, their numbers are actually pretty strong as well. Also, big shout out to this unit who kind of basically held the line, even though they're just a normal infantry unit. But the harassment is still going on right now. This sally out is just so catastrophic, and we're going to get another great charge off onto the archers. How many kills did that pick them up? You know, quite a few right there. We've got 30 casualties, 40 casualties on that archer unit, maybe even more. Yeah, you can really start to see the number. Yeah, that was like 60 casualties right there by the cavalry charge. And right now, this is just very, very hard for this side of the battlefield. I mean, the cavalry is basically all dead. Some knights managed to make it back, but the rest of them are going to die. So they basically traded. Oh, this is going to be huge as well. The knights try and save the artillery crew. Oh, wow. If they fully rout this catapult crew, that is honestly going to be so important in this fight. Because you got to bear in mind, you can tell by the balance of power that the Flemish forces are outnumbered by an entire player. So because of that, they have like, I think they already have 25% less money to begin with. So they're already heavily outmatched and outnumbered. Which is just going to be, you know, very, very bad. The last unit of Flemish knights try to run back. I don't think they're going to make it back in the city. The French are going to go ahead and take their pound of flesh in this battle, charge down the last unit and make sure they do not make it back into the city. And there's no towers either to bring them back inside, because these towers in this patch of Medieval 1212 are absolutely ridiculous. It's actually pretty goddamn insane. So it's nice to see that there are a few breaches in the city. That's going to be good for the advance. There's lots of siege towers and other people ready to assault. But as I said, it's a good delay tactic. It's a good separation. You know, poor communication can be the end of your armies in these battles. And even though the balance of power does kind of seem like the attackers came out on top of that, they definitely did own. They lost like 4 units of cavalry and they killed around about 600 men. So I don't know if it was exactly worth it. I would say it was, because they managed to take out an entire catapult crew without them really firing a shot. They managed to kill a lot of these crossbows, which if you guys, and a lot of these archers, which if you guys have seen these online battles, you know that having archers in sieges to kill the enemy missiles is so goddamn important. Unfortunately, they didn't manage to kill this Great Bombard. Killing this Great Bombard would have been a big achievement as well. But I think the type of units that the cavalry killed, it was a complete worth a maneuver, even though it did cost them basically the entire defending cavalry besides the generals. So we're going to have to see how they're going to fare. And there we go. It looks like a unit of these Pavese, or these aren't Pavese, basically just weaker spearmen, are going to be routed now and pushed back. Because it seems like the battering ram could not quite finish, and the men of Flanders have advanced some of their archers up here to shoot down and break away the defenders. Yeah, they've just got such a good overlook of this battlefield. And that's one of the really cool animations in Attila, where the archers do kind of like just shoot down like this. It gives some feel to that they're actually, you know, on the walls ready to take down the defenders. How they like lean over, they duck behind cover. I always thought that was just a really, really cool animation. And I mean, you know, Total War Attila does have some really cool things to it. It's a shame it's not better optimized. However, I am running a better performance mods that you can find on the workshop if you're having trouble running these big battles. I mean, you're kind of a bit nervous that your computer just isn't good enough to be a part of these online battles. Then a lot of the time players play with I think it's called Better Performance mod or something along them lines. I'm sure if you just go into the workshop and type that up, you can find it. And I think basically what it does is it removes, when you're not looking at units, it will basically change the LOD to be really low quality, so it doesn't render all these units in the back distance, you know, as well. You can see they're basically just like black things, rather I think in the normal game they'd be a lot more visible. So it's definitely a must-have if you're looking to have these massive battles. And here we have it, the advance of the infantry charging into the wall. However, they're going to be meeting some pretty goddamn strong units. We got some swordsmen of St. Michael now ready to receive them. And these are only the weaker tier units of the Flemish. So, yeah, I think this is going to be difficult for them really to break through this assault, because the Flemish have a very, very good stronghold right there. The gatehouse also didn't go down, but there are so many breaches they don't necessarily really need all of the assistance. The central flank as well is moving up. They've also made a couple breaches as well, which is good to see. But they are also moving up and looking to assault. This other side, again, is starting to recoil from its initial skirmish that it had. And they are preparing themselves, I guess, getting their bombard to break a few parts of the wall down, destroy the towers, and then advance. I would love to see these battles being played with siege escalation on, because if they're going to spend the time to destroy most of the city anyway, it'd be kind of cool if they just played with siege escalation 1 or 2, and then just decided to only bring like one piece of artillery each or something. I think that would be nice, because siege escalation in artillery is really awesome and doesn't get used enough. And it gives so much more life to the city. It makes it feel like the siege has actually happened, rather than just kind of like an open battlefield. There's some artillery moving in. You know, it sets fire to the walls, it burns a lot of the territory, it makes breaches. And overall, just it makes for a really, really cool engagement. Wow, what are we seeing right here? Is this a unit of archers trying to get off a wall? Yeah, it is a unit of archers trying to get off a wall. Oh, this is why. Because in Attila, for some reason, it's so stupid. If you destroy these towers, you can't use these entrances down. For some reason, you know, they're tied to like here and you can't just go down the stairs and stuff. I guess it makes sense, but for a game purpose, it's super stupid. So the archers are having to try and flee through to get out through this way, because that's the only way they can do. That's very interesting. And we also have some archers being brought up by the French on this side. And the cannon shooting its last couple shots, trying to make, I imagine, 1 or 2 more breaches. Oh, they need to get the catapult and take down that part of the wall. You can see it has been bombarded right now as well. Very cool indeed. Yeah, the artillery maybe needs to finish off that part of the wall, because I don't think the bombard has any ammunition left. No on this left side. Again, we're waiting for the assault. So overall, it looks like a pretty staggered assault for the attackers right now. I think they're waiting. Yeah, it seems like this person in the center is simply just waiting for the for everyone else to get into position and advance, because yeah, we can see the siege towers moving up, because ideally as the attackers you want to attack all in one big go. If you go ahead and wait and attack, you know, in strings like what's kind of happening here, you're going to get picked apart and taken down fairly quickly. I say that though, it seems like these French knights are doing an amazing job. I'm not sure if it's a second unit being advanced. It doesn't look like it, right? I think this unit of French knights is holding their own very effectively. I expected them to be dispatched like within the first couple of minutes, but with the support of archer fire, they're going toe to toe with these Flemish St. Michael. Are these the St. Michael ones? Yeah, the St. Michael knights, which I imagine are pretty goddamn good. So shout out to them holding their own against the enemy. Can't really expect more from an early tier unit like this. But I do imagine the French are going to have some really, really strong units throughout the campaign. You know, from the beginning to the end, their units are going to be very good. And they're also being supported by more missiles. They are being reinforced, though. And it does look like the city is starting to be set ablaze. I still really think this part of the wall needs to be taken down, because that would just give so much more space to throw in more units. The battering ram has failed, though. That's kind of cool to see. The battering ram made it to the gate, but they got repelled, which is awesome. Also, I'm not too sure why these other tower ladders have not been brought up, because another position right here could be great to surround these St. Michael Knights, considering that it seems like they're doing a good job as is. I mean, they're dying, but not really killing much, but they're holding. The morale seems to be on point for the French. It really, really does. So again, I think, as I said, that this is just simply a holding force right now until everyone else is in position. It seemed like this side of the right-hand position really had to reform up after that cavalry engagement. And it doesn't look like they really have much else to take out. Oh, crap. This is actually really important. So, because this is just so dumb, I don't understand why it's like this in Attila, but there is actually no way down on this part. Oh, no, there is? Okay, there is, sorry. Yeah, there was one place down on this entire wall. It's so... I just don't understand why they did it like this. So the only place you can go down is this, because it's part of the... It's the only thing not destroyed along here. It's so silly. It really, really is. But they need to be careful. If they don't realize that, they might go ahead and... be choke pointing. If I was a defender, I'd just stick like all my men along here and be absolutely fine at repelling them. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, see when they go up. But it seems like, oh, we've got some cavalry maybe coming through. All we do, we're gonna have a little cavalry charge here by the French, seeing if they can smash it through the ranks. Not bad whatsoever. When you're preparing to receive cavalry charges as, as infantry, you want to try and make your unit as dense as possible, as the Flemish come in to countercharge that and repel them. However, it's going to leave them kind of vulnerable to the crossbow fire now. They have baited out the Flanders cavalry, and they're going to be getting hit by a bit of crossbow fire here and there. And that charge did an okay amount of damage, killed like 10-15 dudes with the crossbow fire. They did take, similar losses in the knights, so maybe that wasn't completely worth it. But now the crossbow fire can come in and basically soften up these assaults. So for the defenders, and you can see that's exactly what they're doing. It's a great move there. They need to bring up their own archers to counter these crossbows. And they're pushing their crossbows on the wall, which is why we're seeing a retaliation by these dismounted knights. They want to make sure that their crossbows can fire on the enemy without too many issues, so that's why they're bringing up their own. And if these crossbows are not careful and don't get off the wall quickly, they're going to be stuck, because this siege tower is moving up and these French knights are ready to take over these walls. And if they can kill some crossbows, and my god, will that be worth it. You can see the crossbows fleeing as the siege tower gets down. And you can see them in the gaps. Are they going to get caught? The French are charging out for glory. Storm the walls. They might be able to catch a few of these guys, but I think, yeah, there you go. The majority of the crossbows are going to be taken down now. But the French are going to be pursuing, and this does give them a pretty nice route. We have more archers being brought up, more infantry. Yeah, it looks like the infantry are preparing their assault. The center still hasn't gone yet. The center is still biding its time. I almost feel like this siege tower here is a bit pointless, because you have to traverse all this territory. I guess it wouldn't be a bad idea if you wanted to get crossbows or archers on this part of the wall. But this siege tower right here, I don't think it's going to accomplish much. Unless you're trying to put archers on the wall. And the right side is still just being stationary. This is what, maybe, are they bombarding? No, they're literally just waiting. I'm not really sure what this far right hand side is doing. Maybe they're waiting for less pressure to be on this part, and they're going to then commit. This is what I'm saying, that sally forth in this battle has really gone ahead and disjointed the attackers. And that's just how valuable something like that can be. It can really set the balance between, victory and defeat. By simply, throwing out your cavalry. That has a lot of impact, and that could, it might not even seem like it. It might seem like, oh, we weren't disjointed through this battle. We were talking and stuff because they were probably in voice chat. But even still, it might have that psychological warfare effect of losing your catapults. You might be like, oh, what's the point anymore? More cavalry being brought in here, as it looks like oh, wow, what a charge! That is going to kill so many dismounted Flemish men-at-arms. I'm waiting for this number just to drop. Look at that go. Oh my god. That killed like 30 dudes. They had such a great charge in the side. And it seems like these other knights are now coming in. These other spearmen are coming in to clear. But wow, these French are going in. They're using their cavalry really effectively. Looking just to create these breach points. We have more infantry here as well, trying to break through the walls. The French are not messing around. They're looking to break in the city and overwhelm the defenders. Defenders are not going to give up these battles without a fight, though. That was a really nice cavalry charge right there. It looked so impactful. We have more French over here as well, as they slowly go over the broken down wall. And that's what I'm saying, like breaking down. Where was it? Was it down here? No, up here, wasn't it? It was like this piece of a wall. No, it wasn't. Oh, they did destroy it. Oh, yeah, they must have destroyed it. Okay, cool. Good, good, good by the attackers. The crossbows, though. So this is one of the deadliest things you can do when you're defending. Is using your bowmen or crossbows to shoot the attackers, because you have such a good overview that you can shoot straight at them and do a ton of damage. Because as you can see, the destruction of the wall kind of elevates the unit. And because it elevates the unit, it gives a perfect vision for the crossbows just to shoot them. But this also gives the perfect opportunity for the attackers to use their crossbows and hit the defenders whilst they are shooting their own men. So it's really, you know, a good trade-off. On the wall, though, we are still trying, with the French, I should say, are still trying heavily to overwhelm this position. And I would say they're doing a fairly good job. But their men are definitely not superior. The Flemish seem like they had some really high tier infantry. I love these French shields though as well. So actually no, I take that back. There's at least one unit of really good French units here with them curved shields in these guys right here. And they are equipped with warhammers as well, so they're much more of an armor piercing unit. They're much more designed. They'll normally end up beating a unit of sword infantry because they have extra armor piercing. Overall, the fight for the walls is brutal and deadly. As the other side committed, they have now. This is great to see that the center is now starting to kick themselves into gear and moving on. They should really try and get some crossbows on this wall. The battering ram as well has broken part of the gate, but not all the way through, which is kind of funny to see. We're even seeing some artillery crew advanced in the center as well. That's quite funny. Although the Pavisvo not messing around. They are killing these guys fairly quickly. You're going to need a lot more up here to break that, that's for sure. Oh yeah, there we go. The crossbows are being advanced, and now they can just start pounding away on the defenders. And I think we'll see these crossbows, along with everything else, just retreated back into the city, because, you know, they're not going to stand a chance. If the crossbows can just shoot down, they're going to kill these guys so quickly. So a really nice move here by the defender. And it wouldn't be a bad idea either to maybe, or the attacker I should say, sorry, I keep on messing them up. It wouldn't be a bad idea either for this part of the wall to commit up some of their infantry onto the wall and basically just go and support this fight, you know, keep it going. The balance of power is looking very much in favour at the moment in the position of the attackers. The attackers have over 9,000 men, the defenders have just dropped below 7,000. So it's not looking great. However, the battle is still very early. It's only the initial siege. The defenders have not even had to retreat back yet, so there's still plenty to go. Oh, and it also finally looks like this other side has also committed. They made a breach and then rushed through it. This is a really nice move here. Kind of delay. So this is why they were delaying, basically. I knew there was a strategy behind it somewhere. I guess they were waiting for infantry to kind of be the focus point over here, and then all of a sudden they advanced everything. They put their men on the wall, they got crossbows on the wall, they made a breach point with their artillery and charged everything through. And that's going to allow them to resupply basically all the other positions. You can see these French knights currently running havoc. And even though they have been caught by pikemen, the pikemen are being shot in the back by the crossbows, so it's kind of almost like this is worth it. This is a really nice move by the attackers. Rest of the charges going on. Even got artillery coming over as well, looking to burn more of the city. Burn it all, leave none alive. The French cavalry is going to die, but overall they did a great job. And the crossbows up here as well are dispatching these St. George's knights as well, as the French cavalry get one last charge into them. There are, however, 3 units of crossbows over on this left-hand side, so I imagine they will be returning fire very, very soon and hitting back on the enemy when they do get brought their crossbows to bear. But this is going to allow them. They've also got their own artillery as well. Some big hits there on this cavalry unit, actually. Wow, that was not bad. Not bad whatsoever. Managed to kill like 5-10 horses there with just one artillery shot, which is obviously very, very valuable. The central point has kind of been out of position here. If they could bring this infantry a bit more over to the flank, they could easily turn this unit of Pavis and then kill them. The Pavis are great. They're not necessarily good killers, but they'll defend here. You know, even if they're going to die, it'll take them a while to be taken down. And it's kind of cool that there's a few soldiers here with buckler shields as well. It's kind of interesting. Nice little mix of the period. There are, however, more Flemish knights coming around, and this could be an awesome decision here, strategy. If these guys can come around and they'll basically envelop the infantry, the French infantry, as they'll be getting taken out from the wall and also by the Pavis. Unfortunately, though, because the Pavis are in shield wall, they kind of struggled, and the attackers saw this and they quickly maneuvered elsewhere. So great decision making and strategy on the Flemish side, but also on the attackers to realize this. One of the gates have gone down. What one? So this part of the gate has gone down. I guess that's going to allow the rest of the forces to move forward. And the city is starting to get engulfed in flames, and you know, they're starting to get pushed back a little bit. However, I say that the Flemish are doing a great job of holding on this part of the battlefield. The gate is still theirs. They're looking like they're going to win this fight on the wall. And these fights, the French are starting to break. I mean, maybe this is where they committed more of their forces, because you know what could happen is the Flemish could just decide they want to push all their army here, and because of that, the other sides are going to be a little bit weaker, which we're kind of seeing as more French knights come flying into the fight. But this side is going to struggle, which wouldn't be a bad idea either, because there's 2 players over here, so you can kind of maybe put less on the other side in the hopes that they will defend. But right now, this has been a great attack and defense on both sides. Really good battle replay so far. And as I said, if you guys want to be a part of these battles in the beginning of the episode, then just go ahead and join the Discord. Let yourself know in the looking for games side that, yeah, I'm looking for some more 12-12 battles. Let me know who you guys want to play. And I'm sure you'll get asked. There's also people, you know, dropping messages there every so often saying, hey, we need 1 more, we need 2 more. Or you can even host some games yourself. So if you have any cool scenarios in mind, join the Discord, get a cool replay, and send it my way. Really interesting weapons on these St. George's Knights. They kind of have like just a pointy stick. I'm not sure, it's like not a mace, but like not really a spear. I guess it would be classed as a spear. Artillery coming in as well. The archer volleys. Wow, brutal. You're also getting counter artillery, but I'm not really sure what it's shooting at. We are getting counter artillery. You can see it right there. Oh, we're going to be getting a cavalry charge. Are they going to be advancing up, trying to soften up the assault, or what? Because it looks like the French have kind of faltered here. They've taken out a lot of the enemy forces here. Oh, and there's also a beautiful position right here of the French cavalry. It seems like the French knight, even the siege battle, have proven their worth this day. Managed to kill that unit of crossbows. And now turning around and fighting here. We've also got another siege tower being brought up, which is going to really hamper the defenders, because this other siege tower obviously just gets deployed a little bit later and allows them to outflank the defenders on the wall. This artillery kind of has a bit of a problem. There seems like there's a bit of a fortification in the way there. Not the best thinking, but hey. How's the center position? So the center has broken through really effectively now. And I'm hoping that they can use this to help supplement the other side, because the other side seems like it's struggling a bit. I mean, they've got a lot of men on the wall, but besides that, seems like they're struggling. Now, what would be really interesting, and I think actually, oh, that's an amazing hit there by the artillery. They just killed so many. I think like an underrated tactic in sieges is to bring a great bombard, let the enemy get onto your walls, and then destroy it. Now, granted, obviously, you open up another breach point for the attackers, but imagine if you great bombarded right here and 2-shot the wall. You'd kill all of these units, and that would be massive, you know? That might counteract the fact that you just open up another breach point. So I think that's definitely a valid strategy, you know, destroy your own walls in a sense. Crossbows being brought up in the city, taking out these pikemen, basically forcing them back, and there's no real counter-missile play right now by the defenders, at least on this side. I think a lot of their missiles have been brought back to the city. The attackers pushing everything forward now. And this is one of the... I think I love this part of sieges the most. When the outer walls have gone down, the attackers have like broken through, and now they just send forth like everything they have. And the defenders are desperately trying to hold every single position as best as they can. But then things start to buckle, gaps start to appear. The defenders just simply do not have the men to commit to each and every single one of these breaches, which leaves up gaps for the attackers to exploit and make other parts of their city assault easier. Like what we're seeing right now, this unit of Flemish, what are they? Flemish Pavese are retreating, and that's going to open up a big gap right now. You can see these dismounted knights quickly forming shield wall, though, as they do see knights. It's like in medieval, in Napoleonic Total War, when you see cavalry rushing towards you. You need to quickly form up your men. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this position right here is completely overwhelmed. They can't retreat whatsoever. So we're going to see, more French units coming around the side, engaging this unit and breaking it. Over here as well, they have to defend this street because they have to defend, these positions. That, if any of these go down, and more of the attackers just fly through. Artillery coming in as well. Unfortunately missing. I need to be careful there because too often the artillery does end up taking out their own men. The Flemish knights that are positioned here, though, will be holding their own. And they're just such a great, strong forward unit. But there's hardly any of them left, actually. You can see they only have 19. I guess that's down to all the crossbow fire. And that's what I'm saying! Look how many friendly units! Oh, you goddamn French king! Just murdered so many of your men. I guess it was worth it. Oh, wow. Look at these Flemish knights as well. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Love the look of these Flemish warriors right here. Love their capes and the plumes as well is awesome. Forward, men, to glory! To glory and honour! The French knights, though, just looking so intimidating. Them shields as well, must be like late period shields. They seem pretty effective at guarding the body, though. Look at that, they're basically just like a goddamn Pavese. If you crouch down enough, you can peek over the top with your helmet. And your body's literally perfectly protected. And also, because it's curved as well, I imagine a lot of like blows glance off of it. I guess that's the design of the shield after all. So we're getting more crossbows brought into the city in the centre, looking to finish up this assault. They've also got crossbows up here, which are pushing them back. And now a gap has appeared. I don't know if there's any cavalry left for the French in the centre. They could easily bring their cavalry through. Looks like the city is completely overwhelmed now. And the French are pushing in everything they have. This will punish the Flemish for rebelling, I guess. Band's power is not looking good. However, keep in mind, yeah, oh wow, it's 2-1 now, number-wise. There's 7,500 French going up against 4,000 Flemish. But do keep in mind, there is still plenty left in this battle. And the Flemish have this last stand position right here, which they're going to do, a great job at holding, I'm sure. This position is not going to go down with a click of the fingers. There's only, 3 ways into it. They have good spears. I imagine that we will be seeing a lot of the French advancing their crossbows to try and soften it up, deal with the enemy missiles. But as I said, I think the crumbling is happening on this outer defense. You're starting to see all of these positions woken up. We've got some crossbowmen coming in the side to help kill these Flemish knights. Flemish knights are going to be trying to get a charge on the Genoese crossbowmen. And they did manage to do it. They must be clicking, spam clicking. We do have some infantry though. These French, this French infantry rushing as fast as it can. It looks like it's quite lightly armored as well. So it's probably going to be a bit faster. And I mean, that was a nice attempt by the Flemish, but Now they're going to get enveloped. Oh, God. I feel so sorry for this unit now. They're going to get charged there. And then we're going to have another unit of French units coming in the back as well. There is no escape. I imagine they'll rout very, very quickly. They will fight. They will fight until they can fight no longer. Back to back right now. And these are well-trained men, so that can only be. Look at that guy, got knocked to the floor and got back up. But also look at that guy right there who did not get back up. He's pretty messed up. So if we take a look at the overlook of the entire city, yeah, it looks very much like this is the last bastion. Everything else is back in the city. Even some cavalry being brought around. Because you can, one of the interesting things on this map is the artillery bombards the defenders. One of the interesting things is you can go around here and enter through this bridge point, which is not necessarily a bad idea. You can really use that effectively if you want to maybe try and sneak into the city. I wish, though, that there was some buildings here so you could bring up artillery and bombard these parts of the wall, because I think they're indestructible, if I'm not mistaken, or you can't just get to them. So it'd be really cool if you could destroy this, you make it past the bridge, and then you can come in, or even maybe bring up siege towers and stuff, like you can in the Theodosian walls. Wow, oh yeah, they're focusing down the artillery, which is not a bad idea. Even though this artillery piece doesn't actually have any ammunition left by the looks of it. But it seems like the artillery, the crossbows, the fire arrows, they're looking to try and take out this force with minimal casualties. The French, though, are going to be the Flemish are going to be retaliating with their crossbows. A few of them being shot off and more infantry being brought to the fight. It's going to be hard for them to break up. You know, this is a very, very nice defense right here. Not quite per these, but, you know, the spearmen will be fairly good. They also have the artillery of their own as well, bombarding the missiles. You can see that the emphasis is definitely stuck in on the missiles right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed it ahead until the assault is ready to go, because I think there's going to be a lot of maneuvering now for the next 5-10 minutes. So we'll see that if any crazy action does happen, I will let you guys know. Okay, so the final assault has occurred. We're getting many archers brought up into the city to hammer away. I mean, look at the range of these archers. Are these Scots-Guard? No, they're not. They're definitely very, very deadly bowmen who can hit all the way over to this part of the city and, you know, attack with the Vizima back as the French try their best to fight their way forwards. I imagine this unit of pikemen will definitely be a prioritization of that missile fire, because they can just push back the enemy really, really effectively. You can see the archer fire coming in. I'm sure the missile fire will be quickly turned over, but this does look like the beginning of the end for the Flemish. All their soldiers brought back, attacks on every single side. We're also getting some crossbowmen. I saw, yeah, here we go, moving up on the wall. This is a really, really, really smart move here, because it allows them to basically hit anything that's trying to hide away from the missile fire from the attackers, and there's basically becomes no place to hide. We're going to be getting the general fleeing. Look at him go. He's trying to get out of there. Keep his men alive. We do actually have a unit of French cavalry, though, waiting in the wings. I imagine they're hidden. They are hidden right now, it says there. So maybe they could try and pounce and kill this cavalry. There's not really much else they can do, though, because look at the city. There's so much in reserve. The French definitely have the upper hand in this battle. And they are broken through. The pikemen have routed, I imagine, due to the crossbow fire. More infantry being brought inside the city. The Flemish is just simply a desperate fight for survival now. Really, really is a fight for survival. And I always love these battles that go down like this. Like, it's not necessarily a super close battle, but there's been a lot of really good strategy on both sides. And, I mean, realistically, the Flemish were outnumbered an entire player, so it makes sense that the battle was played out like this. However, if you tell me that the Flemish had no chance whatsoever, I think you're definitely wrong. There was always a chance, if the French armies messed up and, you know, maybe the Flemish players played out of their mind, there was a chance that they would win this. I mean, they're not going to win it this time. I can't imagine, but maybe I'm wrong. The band's power does not look good, though. But I always love these battles that necessarily aren't 50-50. You know, there is a side with a clear advantage, and I feel like that just makes for a fun battle. Seeing how the faction that is outnumbered tries to deal with that, and how, you know, maybe the attackers are overconfident because they have so many numbers. It makes it feel more like a proper historical battle, where sides weren't necessarily always 50-50. Especially in a siege battle as well, you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. If we take a look at the other side, it's not like, imagine being the Flemish right now, looking down and just seeing your doom. I mean, if I was them, I would be fleeing for my life, trying to just run out of the city. And it does seem like, yeah, here we go. The French cavalry has maneuvered over into this little bit of woodland. We've got the French general as well, trying to cut off the retreat of these rebellious Flemish vassals. They will not remain. Is this the French king? Roy the French. I imagine this is the French king. It looks like him, right? He's got his crown on and everything, so probably is the French king. Yeah, all the French cavalry coming around. They know. They're trying to escape. Get rid of the generals. Flee for your lives. Infantry sneaking around as well. Do you still have one of the really good units of Flemish heavy infantry left remaining? They're going up against the halberdiers, and the halberdiers are just so strong at holding that front line. They're basically like a mini pike. Like a brick wall with spikes. They do chop through the attackers very, very quickly. There's just nowhere to run. There literally is just nowhere to run, and the pieces of the battle are starting to crumble. The defenders having to commit their crossbows now to these fights. The settlement is apparently on fire, and we're also getting a bit of a cavalry engagement out here as well. But it seems like the Flemish, what is left of them, just have no strength, and I imagine, yeah, this unit of French general, another French king, there are multiple French kings here. They're coming in and they're going to look to cut the head off the snake, as it were, by killing the enemy general. And putting the final nail in the coffin of this battle. Especially, I mean, look at the difference in armor quality here as well between the Flemish and the French. French are in like full Gothic plate with maces. Whereas the Flemish are in like chainmail with like, you know, just inferior equipment. This right-hand side, in all fairness, this right-hand side has definitely dwindled in numbers. Like, there's not really that much left over here. Whereas on this side, it seems like they have a lot more infantry still left remaining. Another cavalry general unit coming in. Breaking away the defenders' cavalry force. But you never know, you might see some generals going down here. The French king might be slain, and that might be a victory in and of itself. These Genoese crossbowmen are being focused down by the missiles on the ground. The Seaman missiles will be getting chased down. We're getting more cavalry brought into the city. This cluster of infantry right here is just an absolute mosh pit. No one can quite break through, but I think it's just a matter of time until the line gets thin enough, and then the French infantry can just pierce through. And that's why they're throwing in these numbers. That's why they're charging forward. They're basically just trying to find that gap they can exploit, and then the entire defense just comes crumbling down. We do actually have some pikemen still left remaining. Again, as I said, I'm sure that these will be the focal point of the missile fire, even though there's not really any archer ammunition left. So the Allied general has gone down. Oh, that's the Flemish here. We're looking from the Flemish point of view, of course. The other general is coming out as well. Going to get a nice charge off on the French horse. But as I said, it just seems like the French horse is just so superior. They're both of the late period. One's actually... Oh, actually, maybe they're of the high period? the high and late period. I mean, both of them just seem a lot stronger. And also it's the equipment they're carrying, the weapon they're carrying, you know, these big lances and maces and stuff. That knight, I mean, again as well, you got to think of it as well. The Flemish knights went for a big play out here on the far left earlier on, which just maybe didn't. I feel like it paid off really well, but maybe they needed to get a few more things than that. So we'll play the last part of this battle just on triple speed as we kind of watch the entirety of this. Just to simply crumble down. You can see the positions are faltering. The last infantry, though, on the right-hand side is now moving into position. So the Flemish have definitely done a great job at breaking through. I think as well, once we see this cavalry engagement going down, like, we'll just see the horses moving in and finish off the rest of these crossbows. I think, though, this unit of pikemen is trying to position itself along here so the cavalry can't get in, but... And we are actually getting a nice little assault right here. Some of the men are being broken back. But all it will take is one of these positions to go down. All it will take for this cavalry unit to die. But they are holding off very nicely. Very nicely, actually.
The tide of battle turns against us.
But yeah, the holes are approaching now. They can't defend every single position. You're even getting the general cavalry coming in now as well. I imagine he is immediately going to go down this path, look to go up one of these gaps and hit into the missiles. More infantry is trying to be brought over. The infantry is now charging in against the crossbowmen right now. And that's when you know the battle is dire, is when you start to see the crossbowmen having to go in. He just aren't as well trained in hand-to-hand and melee combat. Another general has been completely routed off the field of battle.
The men are broken and running for their lives.
Every position is faltering. Where's the cavalry as well? The general is not looking to commit too quickly, but there we go. That's all routed. That's going to flood in men. And the French have managed to take down this vassal. Proving that this is the reason that they are the king. They are on top. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next, as well as join the Discord and be a part of these battles. But it does seem like it's coming to an end right now as the infantry just fly in. Even the cavalry seemingly ready to push it. Look at these men trying to flee the city. There's so many of them. I would drop my shield, my crossbow, my sword, and just jump into the river maybe. Try and get across here and run as fast as I can, because I don't think these guys are going to escape as this cavalry gets ready to basically blockade this and slaughter. Hey guys, another general finally going down. Yeah, you poor men are not going to stand a chance as the French knights now run into the city. Even some of the horses as well. Look at that, they don't have anyone on them. Oh, what a brutal. That was a really good battle. Massive shout out to the guys who played this one out. That was really good. Lots of strategy, lots of plans being put in. The Flemish never had, much hope. Only a fool's hope, as Gandalf would say. But there was still hope, nonetheless. And they tried to put up a great fight. And they definitely did do a very good defense. So massive shout out to all the players. Hopefully the next one will be just as good. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So yes, please send more replays my way. If you have any good Rise of Mordor 1212 Warhammer replays, send them my way. So let's take a look at the kills, see if anyone really racked up a crazy amount. Over on the first Flemish armies, the knights who probably sallied out in the beginning did very nice. The crossbows in the second army did pretty impressive. And again, in the third army, the cavalry and the crossbows, and also this dismounted Count's retinue getting over almost 300 kills. So that's pretty good. Over on the French side, there'll be less kills because there was less Flemish to kill, but their knights doing a very good job as always. The crossbows sticking in there, Yeah, again, this is going to be the crossbows kills and the infantry being kind of the front line, whereas the crossbows and the archers do a load. Oh, Joan of Arc was here as well. That's kind of cool to see her here. We'll have to do a battle where she's more of a focal point of the French army. And I'm hoping in the campaign as well, she'll have like her own scripts and stuff. If like 100 Years War does fire, that would be pretty cool. So, as I said just a second ago, make sure to drop a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more, join the Discord, and I'll see you guys in the next one.